Okay, so today's Twitter topic has been quite the interesting one. Um, the topic was around mentorship. You can also just say stepdaddyship, right? Because if I'm just to be completely honest here, a lot of times when black women talk about mentorship, they're really using that word to describe a stepfather, right? That's my personal opinion. There's been a lot of debate about this topic, even within the communities of men whom I occupy, right? Um, Communities of men that are around me. There's a lot of debate on this. Not everybody agrees perfectly on this. But this is the tweet that basically set it off. Black men, please, I beg you, be a mentor. These boys out here are hurting. They need you. And the core of the response to this tweet has been a lot of black men saying, well, where are the black boys' fathers, right? A very fair response, right? And this basically caused a huge war on Twitter. I made a very good contribution to the war. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the meme that I cooked up around the war. I also made an entire YouTube video of me cooking up that meme. And I knew it was going to be a banger at the time I uploaded it because it was tied to a viral topic, right? If you scroll through these tweets, it's pretty polarizing. You have one side of people saying, hey, where are their fathers, right? And another side of people are saying, hey, this is true. Let's see what Jay has to say about this. What's his name? Mulholland, the lover. This is a very popular Twitter page. I'm surprised I'm not following him. Let me go ahead and follow him. But he has a lot of really good takes. Asking black men to mentor today's lost souls is like asking a doctor to put rubbing alcohol on a cancerous tumor. The problem started with the child's conception and then the dysfunctional home he's brought up in. They need you. No, they need their mama. No, they need their mama to pick a better man to procreate with. They needed their biological dad to be a real man and take care of his responsibilities. They needed their community not to promote gangster culture. Every day y'all fail these kids. Then ask good, productive, responsible black men to step up to the plate. My answer is no. And this is the sentiment. Like, I think this post really encapsulates how a lot of people feel on this topic. Like, this seems to be the sentiment of a lot of men, right? But I'll just continue as well. But there's a lot of pushback towards this sentiment. Like, a lot of men feel cucked, essentially. Like, hey, you didn't pick a good man who you felt was capable of being a mentor to your kids, right? So you want to come around on the back end and essentially hold productive black men with their own families, their own situations, their own kids, right, accountable for fixing your fuck up, essentially, to be a get out of jail free card, to bail you out of your situation, where the issue should have been addressed by you picking a good father in the first place. Jason Terry also hops in with a very good tweet from kind-hearted Zia, which is a very extremely missed Twitter page. Like, everyone misses this guy. He like, this guy dominated Twitter when he was on Twitter, and he disappeared in the thin air. There's so many conspiracy theories on what happened to him. There's some people saying he roped, he lost a ban for ban or something. But this tweet in particular really encapsulates the elephant in the room here, right? And we know when it comes to talking with women, especially black women, unfortunately, about these things, there's a great level of dishonesty and hiding of the hand that happens. And this woman just is 100% honest in her take, right? Like, this is literally the elephant in the room. And what we know is actually going on is that the men who are capable of being good mentors, you're just not attracted to them. A lot of you don't want them. That's the honest truth. That is the elephant in the room here, is that the man who is capable of being a good father does not get those juices flowing the way you would want him to, right? And basically, Kind-Hearted Zia, he says, how come the fathers of your children never match the type of mentors you want for them, right? She says, because mentors we want for our children be having whack dick. I tried dating a community leader once. His dick didn't match his message, right? And this is the elephant in the room here that a lot of these women do not want to admit, is that it comes down to bad mate selection. The guys are there who are capable of being a good mentor to your kids. But remember, the black woman always puts the quality of the dick first, right? How, like, the quality, like how good that dick is, comes before everything, right? And everything else falls beneath that, right? Everything else falls beneath that, right? And I'm not sitting here trying to say that that's not an important thing to have, but it should not be the priority, right? I'm not telling women to saddle up with some guy with bad dick game, right? But it just seems that with black women in particular, dick game is like the number one thing. And you don't see this amongst other demographics. It only happens amongst our demographic of women, right? Tommy Sotomayor, known, you know, he's very known in the community. He doesn't even need any introduction, really, but black women don't like him. That's what you need to know about Tommy Sotomayor. He's spearheaded a lot of the accountability movement that's, you know, been going on with black women. He's one of the grandfathers of a lot of the talking points that are being talked about today, right? At some point, I feel Tommy Sotomayor went off a deep end for a lot of people. You know, I still tune in and listen to him every now and then. He's a great content creator. He's extremely entertaining. But you know, like anyone else, you agree with him on some things, you don't agree on others, right? They need their damn fathers, right? This pretty well encapsulates how a lot of people are feeling as well. They need their damn fathers, right? Women tend to boys to have a mentor during the rebellious teenage years. And usually it's when the behavior is at its worst point of no return. It requires an enormous amount of personal investment from a man that most men don't have the time or patience to give for free. This is a very, very solid take, right? And it doesn't amaze me that there's no women getting up under here to debate him on this, because it's a very solid take. And usually when you have a take this sound, women are not going to be there to argue against it. They're really on code. They go for the low hanging fruit, right? This guy says, yo, mentorship is $250 an hour. Jason Terry comes in with my meme, right? A meme that I cooked, right? And Jason Terry is a page that I love a lot. This guy is very masterful in a lot of the context that he provides to a lot of discussions. He's a really good tweeter, and he has a lot of historical knowledge to back up what he says. I believe he is a historian, or has a background in history, at least, specifically black studies, right? I cooked up this meme. He hops in with it, And a lot of people like this meme because they felt like it perfectly encapsulated exactly how a lot of people feel about this mentorship topic, right? Now, I always like to depict the Black woman's mate selection, right? Because a lot of the issues that we encounter stems from the Black woman's poor mate selection, right? A lot of people will come in and try to derail the conversation. They'll say, hey, you just hate that you didn't get picked. You just this, you hate yourself, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you hurt, nigga. And they use what Kevin Samuels called sign language, right? They try to shame you out of sharing your genuine opinion, your genuine, experience or what you've seen, right? Depicting this does not mean that I'm hurt. I'm just addressing the elephant in the room. I have no problem with what's going on here in this top panel, right? But it is something that needs to be talked about, is that Black women tend to pass on productive Black men, right? Yes, some productive Black men hold resentment towards Black women for this. Some of them, grow up, holding resentment towards some Black women, right? Some of them grow up to become like the beat it chick meme is real. A lot of people keep saying, hey, all your memes are kind of like different versions of beat it chick. Fair. Beat it chick is real. The square who grows up and gets money and, women suddenly wants him is real. That we can't disregard that and act like that's not a thing. It's something that happens regularly, right? So I always like to focus on this and to pick this part that like the woman's mate selection is poor. She had an opportunity to go for the guy who is a productive man, but productive qualities with Black men always get associated with lame, always get associated with corny. That is a phenomenon that happens within the Black community. It's one of the elephants in the room. No one wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to act like this does not exist, right? Street nigga comes along, right? I'm a street nigga on Power Roof, and she's feeling that. You see the heart, ooh daddy, right? We know the story. It plays out over and over again. It's the biggest elephant in the room. This story is old, is fucking time itself. But when you try to describe this phenomenon, the cognitive dissonance, the just the straight up lying, the gaslighting, it's immense. They want to act like this does not happen, like this has never happened, right? Like a woman has never. Then why does this phenomenon keep, like, if this is false, right? Why is it that men keep describing this phenomenon if it's based in nothing? If it's based in nothing, then where does this come from, right? The gaslighting is immense when it comes to this topic. They do not. And let me, one of the things I've learned, especially about when talking about topics related to women, especially Black women, is when the pushback from Black women is immense, hard, tough, polarizing, when it's like, fuck you, nigga, when it's like extremely like filled with vitriol, fuck you, nigga, yo mama black, blah, 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 all this sign language shame, you're likely hitting it right on the money. I made a tweet earlier about this too, where I said, vitriol from Black women is one of the greatest ways of me knowing that I'm on the money. I literally, at this point, I'm using Black women's anger as a litmus test to tell if I'm on the money. And it works every time. Most of the time I get the most anger, raw anger and hatred from Black women for depicting the things that I do. It's because I'm right on the money. I run all of my memes through my girl. My girl gets to see every single thing that I post before I post it. And some of the stuff she doesn't like, but she says, you know what? It's true. I can't not disagree with it. This is rooted in truth. I've seen it happen amongst my friend group. I've seen this exact thing happen. I can't help but acknowledge that this is facts. She gets pregnant. He's thinking about the hose. You see, the hose. Where the hose at? He's gone. He's looking in the other direction. She's looking at him. He's gone. Now she's sitting here wondering if other black men in the community could step up to mentor her kids, when her opportunity started over here to pick a man who would be capable of being a good man, who would be capable of protecting, providing, and being a solid mentor to her kids, right? But the qualities of a good man is associated with a lame. So now we're here, right? We could have stopped it up here, but now we're all the way down here to where we're seeking mentorship from random men in the community to pacify and bandage a mistake that we made up here, right? And in normal fashion for a lot of my memes, now we get to this point where the woman is tweeting literally the same tweet we saw that kicked off this entire thing, tweeting, begging for help from the community for her bad mistakes, right? There is another post that encapsulated this entire thing very well as well, right? Jesus, I'd have to see if I can find it, but it hit it right on the money. This post basically described, and I'll see if I could just straight up pull it up here. No, this is not. I had to pause for a second to see if this is something I shouldn't be showing on screen. Nope, none of this stuff matters. All this can be on screen. I have to know in case I have to edit it out later, but all this stuff can be on screen. Cool. So, this right here describes the phenomenon that we're going through, right? Women want us being this image on the left when we should be the image on the right. You see, the source of the issue is the women who have bad mate selection and are continuously consolidating on bad, destructive, degenerate men to reproduce with, right? And this is where they want productive black men. They want productive black men as the mop-up boys. They want us here mopping as they continuously deploy degenerate men out of their vaginas. They want us here. This is us, productive black men, mopping it up while the water is still on. This is insanity, bro. This is actual insanity. They want us here while they won't stop that water from running. They want us here mopping up the water. So we're going to be mopping forever until eventually we're flooded in this room, in this area. We'll be flooded. We'll be mopping to the point of where we'll be in a complete flood and we will die, right? Because the water will get to the point of where it comes up here and we're gasping for air, right? And we will die, right? Because we will die, literally. One of the things that's not talked about is, where are these black boys who need mentorship? They're usually not in the suburbs. They're usually in dangerous areas. A lot of us productive black men, I live in a quiet neighborhood, right? I live in a very quiet neighborhood that's about 40 to 45 minutes away from the city, right? I live in a quiet neighborhood and it's nothing but productive people around me, right? We moved away from the city to get away from that bullshit that goes on up in the city, right? And if we want to go to the city, we go to the city, right? But we don't live in the city, right? I can go to sleep. My door's open where I live, right? The areas that they want us to go to, I couldn't go to sleep with my doors open, right? I would have to take my $80,000 electric car that's charging downstairs and go drive into these neighborhoods, right? Go drive my expensive car into these neighborhoods and pull up some gas station or some shit. And what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna leave my nice home in the suburbs to go down to the hood and pick up Keisha's gun-toting children and mentor them, right? And try to mentor them, right? When I got my own kids at home, I have a 16-month-old, right? I have family members, friends, all kinds of people around me that I could be providing mentorship for. But I need to go take my expensive car, leave my comfortable, safe home here in the suburbs, and go drive down into the hood to go round up all of her degenerate kids and try to mentor them as if they're not going to rob me. As if they're not going to try to rob me, right? Like, these are like teenagers, right? Who feel like they're above the law, who feel like they can win a bout with a grown man, fight you, whatever, right? I have to risk my life, right? I have to risk providing for my family to go down there and do that, right? Right? That's where they want us. Right? When this is really what we need to be doing is here on the right. We need to cut that water off at the source. This is the elephant in the room that they don't want us to talk about. And I got into a discussion with one of my mutuals on Twitter about this in DMs, right? We need to be this on the route, right? We need to cut the water off on the source. We don't need to be down here mopping a continuous flood of water that will not cease, right? We need to cut that water off. I'm not against mentorship at all. I want to make that clarification. It's okay to mentor young black boys, right? It's okay to be a mentor, right? But there's a couple I will not be a mentor with. I'm not being a mentor for him. I'm not going to be a mentor for him. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not being a mentor for any of these boys, right? These boys to me are too far gone. I don't care who feels whatever fucking way about that. These boys to me are too far gone. I'm not mentoring these boys. I'm not mentoring these boys at all. You can go suck a dick if you think I'm going to sit here and if you care that much, you go mentor him. I might mentor this kid, right? But I'm not mentoring no gun-toting, strap-toting muff. No, not at all. Not at fucking all, right? But yeah, as I said, we need to be on the right of that image, right? And I need to edit that part out. Great. Great. I was doing well. Now I'm trying to find the image again. Yeah, I have to edit all that out towards the end. Great. We need to be this. We need to be this. We need to cut that source off. The source is Keisha producing all these degenerate children out of her womb, out of her vaginal womb, right? Then we could mentor and help the children that are remaining after we cut this off, right? This does not work. This on the left does not work. This is madness, right? Because for every one or two that we mentor, she's popping out 10, 15 more. We can't mentor these kids faster than she can produce them. There's no way. We need to cut this off at the source, right? The way to do that is reprogramming our culture. We need some serious reprogramming of our culture and our society. I've been talking to a lot of brothers about this, building a parallel society and leaving these motherfuckers alone. There has to be another solution that's outside of being this idiot over here on the left. And that's my entire take on this thing. I can go on and on and on forever on this subject, so I'm gonna cut this short. Thank you everyone for whoever listened in.